Hi, welcome back to Direct Talk. I'm your host, Mani Sharma. Well, today I have with me a great personality in herself. She has been donning a lot of hats over the years. She has been a corporate professional, she's an educationist, she has been actually a real estate expert, and she's also a proud founder of USolve and Elegant Homes. Well, I'm talking about none other than but a personality who has a career spanning 2 decades. A very beautiful, a very ravishing, indeed, beauty with brains. I have with me Richa Mahajan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much.
So, you look splendid, and shall I just ask you, what should I call you? Shall I call you a lifestyle coach? Shall I call you a real estate expert? Or shall I call you an educationist?
Well, I'm a perfect blend of all these, Mani.
Okay.
Whether you're looking for the right home or the right mindset, I'm here to help you.
Great. And you talked about mindset, and I've seen a couple of your videos on social media as well. How the right mindset indeed is important for you?
Well, I think the way we look at the world, that's how the world sees us also. The same problem, if you see from one angle, it becomes a problem. But then if you see it from the other side, it becomes an opportunity. So your mindset is everything.
Richa, you have such a long career, and you were just talking about mindset, right? So I just wanted to check in with you. What do you do to keep your mindset upbeat always?
Well, the key is to keep learning, be a lifelong learner of life, and make sure that your day is filled not only with your mundane chores, not only your professional duties, not only your personal duties, but take out some time for your own self. Learn something new. Make sure that you are upgrading yourself. So upskill yourself.
Definitely, upskilling is the key, I would say,
yes.
And very well put.
Yes.
And now I'm really inquisitive to know about your real estate journey, as you were telling me before also, how you stumbled upon it accidentally during the COVID. We were all down in dumps, we were all upset with the entire pandemic happening, and there's you have Miss Richa, who found a different new career altogether. So how did that came about?
Yes, Mani. So what happened during COVID was my educational side of business went fully online.
Okay.
So I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was thinking about what to do during that time. And I got into the real estate courses, and I finished my courses, I gave the exams, and somehow here I am sitting in front of you, finished up with the Singapore property courses.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And through your academic journey and now in the industry so far, what has been the most challenging thing that you found, especially pertaining to the Singapore market?
See, Singapore market is challenging in the sense that it's a small market, and foreigners do not have a free hand in buying these days. So the most challenging, I would say, is to find the right people for the right places, because there are a lot of good places around, but then how do you know which one is the right one for you? Exactly. So it's like a matchmaking service. You see, you've got the right places, you've got the right people, but how to mix and match?
So basically, it's not just about buying and selling for you, it's more about adding value to your clients and making sure that they're making a good, not only a decision for life wherein they have to spend their entire lives, but also investment wise, right?
Definitely. Money has never been the driving factor for me. For me, what works the most is making deeper connections with people, making meaningful relations with people. So that is what our USP is, that we work not only for mere transactions, but we make lifelong friends.
That's sweet, and I think that will definitely take you really far in the industry also, because emotional quotient is really important, especially in today's day and age, especially after the post-COVID era, I would say. Now, let me talk to you about your other baby, USolve. So from being a teacher at USolve, wherein you actually launched a different platform, to being a student with real estate, your life has actually gone through an entire journey, entire circle altogether, isn't it?
Yes. As I said, we are lifelong learners of life. So I launched USolve, that's my educational venture, in 2011, and it's an online platform where we run different verticals. One of the verticals works with test prep, that is your SATs and ACTs,
Oh, wow.
academic boards like IB and IGCSE. And there's another vertical which works with your college counseling and university applications.
Okay.
And very soon we're going to be launching Olympiad English tests in Singapore and around
Wow.
the area.
And how
Yes.
did this idea come about? Is it because you have a elder son who is probably in university? Is then when you decided to actually launch a platform to help students? Or was it through your
No.
personal experience?
Yes, I think that's been my journey. I started my career with Infosys in India in Electronic City.
Okay.
And then when I moved to Singapore in 2001, and my son was very small at that
Yeah.
time, I somehow did not go back to the corporate career, and I ventured into education at that time. In 2011, I started my own venture.
Wow. Especially, it was a pinch me moment when you just told me that your son is in university, because definitely you don't look like a mother of a 20-year-old.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. You're so
but
kind.
It's super sweet that you have not only just maintained in terms of your physical appearance, but also you take care of your mental well-being, being a
Yes.
lifestyle coach, and you want to
Yes.
carry it forward.
Yes.
And being a lifestyle coach, did it came naturally to you during COVID? Because obviously, as I said before also, right, everybody was facing a lot of mental health issues. It was
Yes.
challenging across different levels for different people.
Yes.
So did that journey also start during the pandemic time?
I've always believed in living a very balanced life.
Okay.
So I always say that make sure that you're moving your body,
Okay.
you're moving your mental muscles, and you're moving your personal journey ahead in life. So that's how it came around. Not only in COVID, I think it's been going on since the last decade.
And Richa, if I have to ask you to give a mental well-being advice to your 19 or 20-year-old younger self, what would that be?
Well, I would say take more risks. Make sure, dream high, achieve high.
Amazing, very well said. I think
Yeah.
not only to your younger self, but
Yeah.
to all the younger generation who is watching us,
Yes.
it's a very good advice. Thanks for giving your 2 cents over there.
Yeah.
Now, coming to the NRI ONE, I have seen a lot of your association videos with them also. So how did that association happen and click?
Well, as an investor, money, I'm always looking at the property scenario around the world. And I felt that India is such a booming market.
Yeah.
By 2030, we're going to be around $1.5 trillion market just
Wow.
in India. So being in Singapore, we're always looking for opportunities to invest back home because we are culturally and emotionally connected with the
Definitely,
country.
yeah.
But at the same time, there are a lot of issues which all of us have faced while dealing with the Indian properties. So I was looking around for platforms to work and to see the Indian developers. And I think NRI ONE is one of those platforms.
Amazing.
Where you get to meet a lot of developers, see what kind of properties they are coming up with, and have a transparency around.
So now talking about this new plan that you have about the English prep, so how can one enroll if one wants to?
Well, this is a testing service that
Okay.
we are going to be launching with schools.
In Singapore?
In Singapore.
Okay.
Singapore. So we are in talks with different schools where the testing will happen in the school for the school students itself.
Okay. And it will help them in advancing their academic journey, right? Like
Yes.
what do they want to do ahead in life?
Yes. So for a very long time, the parents had been asking me to have some kind of standardized English testing service.
Okay.
So with the feedback from different parents and from different schools, this is the service we're launching soon.
Amazing. I'm super excited to see what happens next.
Yes.
But yes, congratulations on the
Thank
new
you.
testing
Thank
plan
you.
also. And I hope that you also soared great heights with it. And it
Thank
is
you.
a beneficial service after all.
Yes. Yes.
So now coming back to your real estate journey, as you mentioned sometime back that it's not just about buying in, selling of properties, right?
Yeah.
It's about adding value.
Yes.
So how do you ensure that you're making the journeys of your clients a meaningful one? How are you doing? What are you doing to actually keep that on track?
Well, real estate journey is a very complex journey, I think, in anyone's life. This is the major chunk of your life savings where you put into a single asset for anybody, for any of us here, right? So what we do, Money, is aside from the transaction, we make sure that we're doing an active listening with the client.
Okay.
And we ensure that we are making meaningful connections, we are making lifelong friendships with them. So it's not only about a single transaction, we ensure that their needs are met at all times.
That's nice. And I think that emotional quotient, that connection is very important, especially in the post-COVID era, because we have realized the importance of human touch.
I agree. I so agree.
But is it also challenging sometimes?
It is very challenging sometimes, yes. I agree fully with you.
Okay.
For example, I just had a client, Money, where as Indians, you see, we are very emotionally attached to the properties that either we live in or we've lived some time back. So this family was not ready to let go of the property in which the children had grown up. But you see, there comes a point where you must ensure that you are progressing your assets. So it was a huge challenge for me to give them the right advice, that when they should sell it and where should they put their money next. So sometimes it becomes a very emotionally complex subject to talk about.
And I think being a lifestyle coach, you wouldn't have any issues with that, because I think that helps, right?
I think it does help because I connect on a personal level with my clients. So it definitely helps. But then when you show them the data, when you show them the numbers, that what is the right thing to be done, I can just present the case to them, and then it's their decision to choose what they like to do.
So it's not just about emotionals and making that connection with them, you also back it up with the data.
Definitely, definitely. The numbers always talk, you see.
And since you mentioned like you're pretty new to this real estate sector, you're still learning, right, in this segment especially. So any tip for the up and coming real estate agents who are actually about to take their exam?
Well, I think we are always learning. Even if somebody's been doing this for 20 years, I think it's still time to learn. So we must keep learning. For the new people also who are coming into this area, I would say, please make sure that you keep your passion as number one when you're dealing with clients. Don't keep money as your master. Make sure that you understand the need of your client and work accordingly.
I think that works across the markets, right? Be in India and Singapore.
Yes, it does.
And do you feel, because you've had a closer case study of sorts back home with your father being into real estate as well, so do you feel both the markets are also different?
They are very different. They are very different markets, Money, especially if you're talking about the Indian market. It's booming. It's booming. It's going to become a 15 trillion market by 2030.
Wow.
And especially the residential sectors and the commercial sectors are going to soar. So whether it's city skylines or the sprawling suburbs, wherever you choose to invest, it's going to grow your money.
So right from the export, you have it, guys. This is the right time to invest in India. Am I correct?
Definitely. It's going to boom. But at the same time, you need to make the right investment. I think that's the key word.
And talking about right investments, I think these days we do have platforms like that in sense of like there's NRI ONE in Singapore, which gets you the best of market intelligence back home in India. Either you want to probably invest, or you are actually just seeking a home post your retirement and you want to just go and settle in there, right? How has that association been? Because I've heard that you have been a major cogwheel in terms of NRI ONE as well.
NRI ONE is a great platform, I would say, because we always need to have a marketplace where the developers come and showcase their properties. As Singapore investors, we need to understand what's happening in the Indian market as well as what are the global trends. For example, is it the residential market that I should invest into?
Okay.
Is it the commercial market that I need to get into? If I'm going into commercial market, should I be buying a smaller unit or a bigger unit? Should I be buying into a co-working space? Should I buy a fractional property? So there are a lot of nuances to it. So we need to have a place where we understand what is right and what is not. So NRI ONE, I guess, does a very good work on that.
Richa, I understand that you have had a long association with NRI ONE and you only have great things to say about them. But I would like to know about your first time experience when you actually went to their event and you experienced everything offhand. Like, how was that?
I go to NRI ONE to get clear insights, to get a comprehensive selection of properties, to meet the developers directly, to see what is their experience in building the buildings that they are showcasing. When you talk to the developer directly, then you understand their intentions. So there are a lot of nuances before you invest or before you buy for your own stay. So I suggest all the investors, all the people here in Singapore who are planning to buy into India, they must talk to the developers. We must have bigger platforms where all the developers come together and showcase their properties to us.
Amazing. And like you just mentioned, India is booming in terms of real estate, and how NRI ONE is actually catering to those needs of NRI, especially in Singapore. In your experience, what would you say to, let's say, somebody who is there in their late 40s or 50s and planning to invest back home in India purely for financial investment purposes? Where do they invest? Do they invest more in the commercial side or in the residential side? Should they invest in rural areas or B towns or more in A towns and metro cities?
Okay, so there is no one size fits all approach in this, but I would say that know yourself as a customer. Do you have a high risk appetite or a lower risk appetite? If you're looking for returns on a monthly basis, then get into commercial, because it may not grow so much over the years, but it will give you a good return.
And it's not that risk, it's risk averse, I'm guessing.
Okay, so when it comes to risk averse, if we've bought into the right property, almost all properties will give you returns. So the keyword always is the right one. So if you're getting into commercial, you will get a higher return in terms of rental. But if you go into the residential side of it, then your assets are going to grow over time. And especially if you buy into a Bombay or a Delhi market, then of course your assets progress a little faster. You see, we're looking at a CAGR growth rate of 15%, even if I'm taking it very conservatively. According to some reports, the CAGR rate is going to be 25%.
Wow.
So that's really high. That's really high. But I take it very conservatively. Just take it as 15%.
India market is indeed booming.
It is soaring.
Upcoming.
It is soaring. Whether it's a city skylines or the sprawling suburbans, it's really soaring.
Thank you so much for your 2 cents. I'm sure a lot of audiences will relate to it. Will actually take your advice in the right stride and make the right decision with the right property, as you just said. So before I let you go, Richa, just to wind everything up, if there's one advice that you would want to give your 20-year-old younger self, what would that be?
That's tough one, because I've always followed my heart. I've done what I wanted to do, and fortunately my family is very supportive, so it lets me do what I wish to. But I would say, if there is just one advice to myself or anyone who's looking at this right now, please dream big and follow through your dreams. Be disciplined. Be disciplined. I think discipline takes you everywhere.
Indeed, very rightfully said. And What's next for you now? Since you have donned so many hats, you've done so much now. 2 decades is not a joke, Richa. So what's next in store for you?
So I'm looking at the property market. I'm keeping a very keen eye on it.
Okay.
And if we can bridge the gap between the Indian developers and the Singapore investors, that would be great if we can give them a clearer understanding of what's happening.
Thank you so much, Richa. That was lovely. I had
Thank
great
you.
time chatting with you,
Thank
knowing
you.
your experience and also learning a lot from it as well. Thank you for doing such a commendable work and for your time. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed our direct talk with Richa Mahajan. This is Mani Sharma signing off. You take care until next direct talk.